How are you doing? Consulted by G Dot Family. It is your boy G Dot back at it again, and we're talking about AI once again because a lot of people are still asleep on AI. When AI is the easiest way to make money nowadays, and it automates everything for you, makes your life 100 times easier. And if you're not using it, you're not making as much money as you can. But let's go ahead and get straight into it, and let's see how we can be using AI to our full advantage now.
There are people out there that have amazing ideas, but they don't have the resources, the money, the network, the team, the technical know-how. None of that matters anymore.
Not at all.
We are going through a great reset where if you have an idea in your head and you are willing to adopt and you want to create, you can do it right now for the first time ever in history this week.
If someone has a limited budget, which subscription services should they pay for and at what level?
Great
It
question.
really depends on your use case.
Great
I
question.
think for most people, it actually doesn't matter that much. Whether you use Gemini or whether you use ChatGPT, and we're talking about like the $20 level. For most people, that's completely fine. For anyone that's actually doing any sort of deep research, business analysis, that's actually starting businesses, running a business, even if it's a small one, um, you should probably pay up for like a $200 a month style subscription.
And which one? How do you know which one to purchase?
Well, again, it really depends on your use case. And right now, today, everything has changed in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
So I guess I just answer the question as if we were doing this show 2 weeks ago. But the reality is today, now that we live in a world of agentic AI, not every AI company has put out their full agentic AI stack.
Right.
So today, Anthropic has put out something that they call Cowork, right? And Anthropic Cowork essentially gives you the ability not just to run a prompt, but to actually have numerous agents. It's like having a multitude of employees, and you simply tell it what you want to do.
That is what I've been looking for. That is what I need. We're going to give a big bomb for that one. That is because the thing I hate about AI, they can only do one task at a time. From Claude to Gemini to ChatGPT, it's all the same. Like yes, they do different levels of work and they can do more things on each platform. But it's the fact that I can only do one task at a time. If I can have, that's how much do they want to run a team for? That's all I need. I just need a team to do things, multiple things at once. That's what slows me down. Like, okay, I have to focus on this. Once I'm done with this prompt, I have to do this. That's what slows me down. I need to be like, all right, I want you to do these three things right now. Each person focuses on one thing. So it's not like, and if it's a problem with one or one finishes earlier than the other, I can explain that to the individual agent and then go back to what I'm doing.
And it will have 5, 6, 7 agents. One will be running a marketing department. One will be running a tech stack for you, and it will piece together all the things that it needs to piece together in order to accomplish any task or any goal that you have. And it will work 24 hours a day, right? So it's not just like putting in a prompt and waiting for an answer and then copy and pasting and doing it the way we've been doing it through ChatGPT the last couple of years. Now, there is another way to do this, which I think most people are adopting in the last couple of weeks, and you've probably heard of OpenClaw,
Mm.
right? It's gone through a few different naming changes, but this is essentially the same thing, except it's open source. It's not run by a big model, and because it's open source, it's completely free. So everyone's going out right now and buying Mac Minis,
Right.
and they're basically running OpenClaw, and you don't have to be a technologist to do this. Anyone in the world can do this really easily. You
Okay.
just simply tell it, hey, I want to start this business. How do I do this? What do I need to do? And you set up OpenClaw with its own email account. You set it up with its own social media accounts. You set it up with its own credit card if you want, with its own limits.
Mm-hmm.
It's its own person, and it runs on a Mac Mini. And the reason why you want to run it on a Mac Mini is because it's new and because it's open source. So the safety standards aren't really there yet.
Ah,
So it becomes
yeah.
an employee. And in fact, it can become an employee that's managing 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 employees because it will create other agents inside of itself to do an infinite number of things.
That is amazing, but it's also so scary with how much you can do with so little. Like a Mac Mini is not, it's not that big, you know, and it's just really scary how it only takes a few products and a few payments to you can really go from a hero zero to hero overnight almost. It's almost insane. It seems too good to believe until you see people doing it consistently every day.
things. So it will actually run a business for you from A to Z on its own. And that's what's been happening the
How is
last
that
2 weeks.
possible? To me, that just doesn't seem feasible
Right,
that
you
you could
know?
tell it this idea, like, I want to make this app that does this, do it. That it'll actually go and like make the app and put it on the app store and charge your card for it. And like, how?
Graham, it's doing all of it. I know this is why I haven't slept in 2 weeks. I mean, this is why I initially missed the first, when we were supposed to be doing this show a couple days ago, and I just didn't even realize because my life is this crazy. I can't keep up with the technology the last couple weeks. So, you know what I do as an investor? I essentially spend 4 hours a day dissecting thousands and thousands of comments on videos to try to surface change in the world, right? Cultural shifts, consumer behavioral shifts, and then I try to connect the dots of that change to investable opportunities in the stock market. And that's what a social arb trader does. That's what I've been doing for 18 years. There are
Sounds
a lot of
stressful.
people that follow me, obviously. And are at least 6 people that I know of in the last week that have set up OpenClaw boxes and said, I want you to replicate everything that Chris Camillo does. And a few of these people have actually put the results and have shown it working on X. And it works 24 hours a day doing everything that I do. So it actually goes into TikTok and it starts watching videos. It runs through comments. It knows what words to look for.
Mm.
It knows to look for words like sold out everywhere, obsessed. So it understands my methodology and it knows what to search for on TikTok. And then it scans comments and it evaluates what's trending in real time. And then it extrapolates what might be a good investment to make. This was done in 48 hours. They basically replicated 18 years of my work in 48 hours on a
And there's two ways you can look at that because that is insane to say. That's insane. And this is like this man made a profession out of this. This isn't a joke. Like this isn't something like a dropshipping business or anything. He made a real life profession out of this for 18 years, and then someone came along with new technology and replicated it in 48 hours, 2 days time. He was able to do the same thing it took him 18 years to learn. And he's not even doing. He's having an AI chatbot do it. This there's no reason to be broke. There's no reason not to be having money. There's no reason not to be doing anything possible to gain a leverage because right now it's a new technological wave. First it was crypto, then it was NFTs, now it's AI. We're going to see a trend upwards to the digital platform, to the digital realm. We're going to keep going that way, especially after COVID. That's where everything was trending anyway. So it's only going to get worse or better or worse depending on how you look on it as time goes on. So you got to be either get in front of it or you're going to get left behind.
Mac Mini, just voice prompting, hey, can you replicate what Chris Camillo does? It researched me, and then it started a company and it started doing this in real time. And so I'm just one very niche individual with a niche business, right? It can do this for any business in the world. In fact, like this is the most exciting piece of this in that I'm calling it like the Great Reset. Okay. And I'm so excited for it because there's so much negativity around AI right now. Everything that you just talked about with so much of the benefit of AI getting concentrated to one class of people, it doesn't have to be that way. This is the first time in my lifetime where the future is not necessarily owned by those with the most credentials or the most money or the
Mm-hmm.
best education. Um, it's owned by anyone in the world that's willing to adopt
And
quickly
adapt.
and create.
Yeah.
So, you know, Gen Z has been complaining for a very long time, and they have a valid complaint that they don't have the opportunity that boomers had. right? And we could all agree that to an
Mhm.
extent, the pathway for them isn't as clear. They could spend a lot of money on education and still end up with no job, in
True.
debt,
It's
and
true.
no clear pathway to success and financial freedom in their life.
It's true.
Well, right now, anyone in the world that is willing to adopt and create can do what I just told you. Because for the past 20 years, if you wanted to start a business, you would have to raise money,
Yeah.
you would have to build a team, you would usually have to understand technology or have to communicate what you were trying to build through a technologist. And it would take a lot of time. There's a tremendous amount of risk involved with all of that. And because of that, most of the world's problems did not mandate starting a business to fix them. Because even if you had the solution to a problem, the cost of actually implementing that solution was way too high for that particular problem.
It's
So
true.
the business wasn't viable.
But now all of that's changed with AI, and now we do have our big boom. Like we have like how the boomers had the internet wave, and they had a lot of access then. We have the same thing now with AI, but it's just a little different. We have the ability to use social media, so honestly, in more ways than not, it's easier for us to make money than it was ever for them because yeah, they were getting paid more back then, and money was worth more back then, but they still had to work and spend hours of their day at this job, and then get the money and do whatever, and then they have a chance. We can go on TikTok and make these pages for free. We can go on Instagram and make these pages for free. YouTube, free. Facebook, free. Everything is free, 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 free. You just make the content. And then you get paid for it if you put enough work in, put enough hours in. You can sell different things to people. Then you can market different things. You can get paid for sponsorships, brand deals. These are very real options. And people just have to take advantage of everything. So if you don't take advantage of it, you're going to get left behind. So hopefully we see a change and people are going to start gravitating to AI instead of because right now I feel like the big thing is content creation. But at the end of the day, there's so much more out there besides content creation that we have to tap